Tiyo Attallah Salah-El died in prison in 2018, but how he lived is really the remarkable story behind the book Pen Pal, Prison Letters from a Free Spirit on Slow Death Row. Those letters were written from prison to his friend Paul Allen Smith, and the principal narrator of the audiobook is actor-director Carl Weathers. Welcome to you both. Nice to have you here.
Thank you. Good to be with you.
Same.
So this is really an interesting situation where a prisoner really doesn't live like a prisoner because in his head, in his heart, he is a free spirit. And I don't know how he came to that. But Paul, you got these letters from him. How would you describe Tiyo?
Very evolved, very wise, very caring, but particularly very open to change, very open to a metamorphosis, if you will, a curious man, and a man with regrets. And how's that?
But you're locked up in prison, and you think, "Oh, woe is me! The world is horrible. I'm just going to be sitting here in my little cell and not do anything." He did anything but that. He wrote books. He wrote letters. He wrote songs. He was a Renaissance man within the walls of prison. And Carl, you must, as you read these letters in your audiobook, the admiration must have gone through the roof as far as your feeling about Tiyo.
Yeah, there was quite a bit of admiration and also discovery. You know, I've never been locked up, so not physically anyway. You know, we all maybe have a bit of mental lockup that we have to do our best to try to escape. But in reading his letters and getting a sense of the man despite the conditions, the physical conditions, I didn't only admire him, but I was inspired by what he had to say and how he said it. And I think Paul was really accurate in saying evolved, because it could be, it would seem so easy to allow oneself to go down the drain, so to speak, you know? But this man, through his letters, you could sense that there was continuing growth, and that growth was a part of his spirit that, to me, is a part of the human spirit that many of us could maybe adopt, and our lives might be a lot better in the lives around us of those people with whom we communicate and establish relationships with, may be better as well.
Paul, he wrote you 568 letters. 92 of those letters are in this book. Eloquence doesn't even begin to describe the way this man wrote. How in the world did you connect with Tiyo? And were you as surprised as so many of us have read the letters that he wrote? Were you as surprised by his eloquence and his artistry with words?
You know, I wasn't. And you have to keep in mind that he studied with Howard Zinn for several years, more than several years. And he had had an aptitude for the literary universe before I came into the picture. What I was taken with, and what I remain taken with, is just his ability to connect with me in such a profound way from such a radically different environment. It speaks, again, not to overuse a word, but a spirit, literally a spirit that you can't help but feel resonate. This was all new to me. Paradoxically, someone who has the whole world to play in, and yet I was trapped in this context in a way that he didn't come close.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And to get a sense of that, I want to just take a second and listen to Carl Weathers read a piece of one of those letters.
Although I live in a 5-foot by 8-foot cage, I am a free spirit. The state, and the criminal justice system has often attempted to seal my lips and mind. I'm well aware that I may soon die in this cage. When? My view of death can be summed up in 3 words. Life goes on. I have a lot to complete in so little time. Whew.
Carl, your ability to kind of embody Tiyo in your reading is remarkable. You're a terrific conduit for him, and he really does come to life in these letters.
Yeah, well, what I did was really just read the man's words. I don't, unfortunately, I never got a chance to meet him or to talk with him personally, because there may have been quite a bit more I could have gleaned from that communication, that one-on-one. But the letters, you utilized the word eloquence, and Paul did. And in a strange way, they're beyond eloquent. They really are. And this word gets tossed around a bit, but they're really soulful. When you read the letters, you cannot help but be touched by them. And, as you noted, Paul had 560 plus letters over. I don't know if I've written 560 letters to anybody and everybody in my entire lifetime. So prolific.
Yeah.
I mean,
unbelievable.
And to communicate with another person with that kind of eloquence and honesty, to get sort of deep inside you and relate to another man in those ways, boy, I got to tell you, that's to me remarkable.
It's remarkable. And Paul, list, if you would, the accomplishments what he did in prison. He organized. Tell me about all of that, because that, to me, that list is really unbelievable.
Well, he started Coalition Against Prisons, which was what we would call almost a lobbying group, but it was a group of activists that he organized, and he wrote op-ed pieces. And he also wrote op-ed pieces about other various things that he sent to the various newspapers and the like. He started a GED program, which he was immensely proud of. This GED program, unlike the others, integrated what is technically illegal as peer-to-peer training. Well, that has proven to be very, very, very effective in prisons. And so his GED program had over 100 men participating at the same time, and he ran it, and he was delegating here and there, and they were passing. And he was teaching other men as old as 60 years old to read. And then those men were teaching younger men in their 20s who were embarrassed that they couldn't read. So he was able to take people and introduce them to a perspective that otherwise we would not be privy to. It wasn't unique just to my letters. He reached many others.
Make no mistake, Paul and Carl, that he did not live an ideal life in that prison. There were tough days, really hard suffering. There was a lot of suffering, pain inflicted on him. And Carl, as you look at this and finally in this conversation, this really plays to the situation that we find ourselves in our social status today with what's going on in the world. You have to be thinking deeply about what his message was and what the message is today about the social injustices in the world.
Yeah. Well, that's the conversation about that could last 10 of your shows.
Yeah.
Because clearly it's been demonstrated that is going on, has been going on, and unless something is done, will continue to go on. And under it all is greed. Under it all it's about money. It's about a system that supports a lot of people financially. And those people have a vested interest in seeing that system continue. One thing I want to say, though, because I'm listening to Paul, and I've said it also, all the positive things, Tiyo was not a soft man. So make no mistake about that. In his letters, you can tell that this man held his ground and also protected others, white and black. And it's really evident in his letters that he had a code of what is right and what is wrong, and he stood up for that, you know? So the letters are remarkable in so many ways because you really get insights into a human being and a personality that is complex and comprehensive. I mean, it really is. The letters are phenomenal. They really are.
Well, the book, Pen Pal Prison Letters from a Free Spirit on Slow Death Row, is available in book form, but the audio form is, of course, featuring Carl Weathers as the principal narrator, is a remarkable thing to go through and to listen and to experience. Paul Allen Smith, Carl Weathers, thank you so much for being with us. It's been a pleasure speaking with you, and continued success to both of you.
Same to you.
Thank you.